Alphabrain is perhaps the most well-known nootropic supplement out there, thanks to its part owner and popular podcaster Joe Rogan. But does that mean it's the best? Does its proprietary blend spell disaster? And does it really make people vomit? Today I'm addressing all of that and more in this Alphabrain review. The brand behind Alphabrain is Onnit, who mainly produce and sell a small range of performance-based supplements along with some apparel and weights, but they're most well known for Alphabrain. I've recently been testing Black Label by Alphabrain and the Alphabrain Focus Shots. Those reviews will be coming soon, so if you want to see those, make sure you are subscribed to get the notifications. But today we're focusing on their core product, Alphabrain. Unlike Black Label and their Focus Shots, Alphabrain contains a proprietary blend. It's something that Alphabrain have had plenty of backlash for, and it's probably why they don't use proprietary blends in their new products. But essentially what it means is that we know exactly what ingredients are in Alphabrain, but crucially we don't know exactly how much of each individual ingredient is in the blend. So we're going to peel back this proprietary blend. We're going to see what the studies say, and I'm also going to give you my verdict after testing this product for a month. Now, some people do hate on the Alphabrain ingredient stack. Me personally, I actually quite like it. I think it's a decent stack of ingredients, with the exception of the obvious missing component, which is lion's mane mushroom, which interestingly enough, they did decide to put in Black Label. So like I said, the main issue with the ingredients is that we don't know how much of each one there is. So let's just try and break that down a little bit more. So we start off with vitamin B6. Now, I would like to see more of a vitamin B complex. I'd like to see some other B vitamins in there. They're well known for having cognitive benefits, but we do get B6 and we do know exactly how much of this ingredient there is. There's 10 milligrams per serving, but it's a good starting point for us. We then move into the Onnit Flow Blend, which makes up the majority of the stack at a total of 650 milligrams. And within that, we get L-tyrosine, L-theanine, oat straw extract and phosphatidylserine. And this is where we start to get a little bit unstuck, because for me personally, I would like to see 500 milligrams of L-tyrosine, I'd like to see 250 milligrams at a minimum of L-theanine, and I'd like to see at least 100 milligrams of phosphatidylserine. Now, the 650 milligrams in total, so if we were to get those, unfortunately, as they say, the math doesn't math. By the way, links to all of the studies and to Alphabrain and to some of our other recommended products are down in the description below, so do go and check those out. Now let's move on to another omission that I'm actually quite happy with this time, and that is the fact that Alphabrain is caffeine free. Now I generally quite like my nootropics to be caffeine free because it just gives the user a little bit more control over their caffeine intake. It also gives you a little bit more flexibility in terms of when you decide to take Alphabrain. For me, I would always still take it in the morning because I do feel that some of the ingredients in here are giving you that little kick, particularly the alpha GPC, which we're going to come on to in a second, and I want to feel those benefits through the day. However, this shouldn't really impact sleep in a negative way if you do decide to take it later in the day. Before moving on to the Focus and the Fuel blend, we're going to look at an ingredient that Alphabrain for some reason highlights on its own, and that is cat's claw bark extract. You get 350 milligrams of this, which is actually a good dose. The problem with that is there's not a huge amount of clinical data to support cat's claw in terms of nootropic benefits. There are benefits to the immune system that are well documented, and one study has found it to reduce brain amyloid plaque and reduce inflammation, also aiding blood flow to the brain. So it is welcome here, and like I said, in a decent dose. We then move on to the Focus blend. Now here we get a total of 240 milligrams, and we see ingredients such as alpha GPC, bacopa extract at 100 milligrams. We see huperzine A at 400 micrograms. So again, the issue here is not what's in Alphabrain, it's how much. Only 240 milligrams in total of those ingredients. We know there's 100 milligrams of bacopa extract, which means there's more than that of alpha GPC. However, there's only going to be a maximum of about 140 milligrams there. So for me, that is severely underdosed, and there was a real opportunity there to give us more of the good stuff. The fuel blend for me is the one where alphabrain really lets itself down at 60 milligrams in total. 2 ingredients in there. There's not enough clinical data to support them, and for me, they may as well almost not have bothered putting that in there. The other thing is, when nootropics tend to market products in this way, having a flow blend, having a focus blend, having a fuel blend, it's a little bit gimmicky. It's too much focus on the marketing rather than just letting the ingredients speak for themselves. And I'm always a fan of nootropics that are just clear, give you the ingredients and tell you exactly what there is of each one. The reason why alphabrain will turn around, or Onnit will turn around and say they did not do that and they included the proprietary blend, is to stop competitors from stealing their formula. But then that argument is kind of countered by the fact that, okay, well, with alphabrain focus shot, with Black Label, they've clearly decided to do that. So will we see a day where alphabrain brings us a full disclosure of each and every ingredient? I'm not sure we will, but it would be nice to see. So let's move on to the impact that I felt when testing this for 30 days. Now, it's fair to say that I'm pretty familiar with taking nootropics. I take them most days, and whenever I'm testing out a new nootropic or I'm testing something for review purposes like this, I'll always take at least a week off from taking my usual stack, just to kind of clean the system and make sure we're starting as much as possible from a clean slate. Now, whether that is fully the case, that's to be debated. Let me know in the comments if you think I should be taking more of a break before testing. But for me, that's exactly what I did here. I took the 1 week off and then I tested this for a month. Now, the first thing to point out here is that this is the smaller bottle size. There are 2 bottle sizes that you can choose from. One has 30 capsules, which is this, and the other one has 90. Now, at 2 capsules per day, you don't need to be a super mathematical genius to figure out that that is only going to contain 15 servings. Now, alphabrain is not particularly cheap, and at the time of recording, the smaller bottle was retailing at around $30, with the larger 90 capsule bottle retailing at around $68. And that was on a subscription basis, which gives you 15% off or so. So clearly not a cheap product. That actually works out to around $60 per month, which if we compare to some other products is actually on the expensive side. But how did we get on? Well, I actually found alphabrain a decent nootropic to take. Even for someone like myself who has, I tend to find that I need larger doses. I did actually feel some cognitive benefits from this. And of course, this is anecdotal. I've not done any kind of cognition tests or official tests. This is purely anecdotal. And for me, I think the biggest benefits were probably coming from the flow blend and then the alpha GPC within the focus blend. Because that's really where that I felt the most benefit. I felt kind of in flow. Again, I would personally, I would combine it with caffeine because I think the L-theanine balances that out really nicely. The phosphatidylserine and, like I said, the alpha GPC were certainly having an impact on me through this testing period. Now, would I like to see more? Did those flow states last for a long period of time? Probably not, if I'm being perfectly honest. There are other nootropics that I've used, and do check out our Best Nootropics video that recently was published. That's linked in the description below. Alphabrain didn't actually make it into that list, mainly because of the proprietary blend, but also because there is a little bit, for me, there was a little bit of a lack of impact. People have talked about being sick and vomiting when using alphabrain. I didn't personally experience that. I think unless you've got a particular sensitivity to one of the ingredients, then you're probably going to be okay. But as with all of these things, do consult a medical professional if you do suffer any kind of severe side effects, and do stop taking it if that is the case. In terms of the capsules themselves, they are the sort of standard size capsules that you would see in any other supplement. They're also vegan and vegetarian friendly. The cases do not use gelatin, so that's really important if you're vegetarian or vegan. And they're super easy to take. If you struggle taking capsules, you can open them up and mix them in with a drink if you want. You should most definitely take this with food. I tend to have it with breakfast or just after breakfast, and that might be an example of why some people have reported stomach issues if they're taking it on an empty stomach. So I would definitely recommend taking it with food, and I would also recommend, if you do drink caffeine, so if you start your day with a coffee or you have a kind of mid-morning coffee, that's also a good time to take it, because like I said, the L-theanine in there is going to balance out that caffeine for you, particularly if it's a particularly high caffeinated drink. So all in all, how do I rate alphabrain? I certainly don't think it's a terrible nootropic. I actually really like Onnit as a company. I think they stand for some really good principles, and more than anything else, particularly the work that Joe Rogan has done in promoting alphabrain, it has generally elevated the nootropic industry to a higher level. There's a lot more awareness around cognition and the benefits, the cognitive benefits and the long-term benefits that products like alphabrain can give you. And that's one thing we haven't really discussed. We didn't really talk about the Bacopa monnieri that's in here and the potential long-term memory benefits that could also have. So for all those reasons, I applaud alphabrain. However, I do think it's expensive for what it is. If you do want to test it out, then you can use our exclusive 10% discount code, which is SOMA. Just pop that in at checkout and you'll receive a 10% discount. By all means, check it out for yourself. If you do, or if you have used it, I'd love to hear your experience and feedback. Please let us know down in the comments below. And like I said, next up for me is Black Label, and also testing out some of these focus shots, which I'm quite looking forward to doing. So make sure you do subscribe and stick around to watch those reviews very soon. Thanks for watching.